Okay, so we should be sort of at this point where we've got the kind of cube is in position. We've got the background image. We are using cycles here, so make sure that your render engine is cycles. And so we've got this. So now I want to show you how to output it. So the first thing is we want to turn this transparent, because what we want to see is we want to see the background image. We want to see the shadow on the floor, and we want to make sure that the ground is in the foreground layer. Also, if you want to get rid of these annoying grid lines, you can tap this and this and this, and you can get rid of everything, and you can see what you're going to end up with. The problem is that when we render this, we're going to get the background, and we don't want that. We want to have this on a sort of a transparent background. The problem is that when we do that, it will render this and it will composite it together, and we don't want that. And so we want to go to here on the scene file to post-processing and just turn off compositing. And just try and remember that. That's quite important. And then what it will render out is it will render out this. And then what we'll do is in the output here, which is in the same bit, we will make sure that it's a PNG, that it's RGBA, the color depth is 8, and compression 15% is right, but try not to, and then place where you want to put it. And then what it will do is it will do a bunch of sequences, a sequence of images, and then we can composite those together. So then we go into Premiere, and we have our sequence of images that we rendered out, and I'll drop those in. I'll just pop these in here like this, put it on the right layer. I'll keep existing settings. So there's our background, and then we take our foreground, and I'm just going to pop it in there. I've got Blender in this running, so it's a bit kind of ponderous, I'm afraid. So, and I'm screen recording, so. And then what we'll get is we'll get the composite like that. And then what it means, the reason why we do that is because then we can take this and we can go into color, and we can start changing things like the saturation and stuff like that, so we can kind of match it perfectly to the scene, and we can change kind of like we can go into the here and we can change things like the contrast, because you can see that the stuff that's the scene that it's on is a little bit duller and a bit yellower, and so we need to kind of match the footage. So I'm doing a very, very loose match here, and then I'm going to render effects in and out. Again, it will take a while because I'm screen recording and I am running Blender, so I'm probably going to quit Blender in a minute. So now what we'll get is a blank screen, because I am running Blender. One second, let me just quit it. Don't save. Go back into Premiere. That should be a little bit quicker, maybe. But anyway, you kind of get the general idea. It should run quicker if you were not running anything else. And then we get a decent composite. And let me see if I can play this. Well, it's got a playing sort of, but not really. So I'm just going to render everything in and out. Just going to do it. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. So, yeah, this is going to take a while. So, yeah, you're going to have to listen to my dulcet tones for a little bit. But essentially, why we're doing it separately, why we're exporting the transparent kind of 3D separately, is because it makes it kind of easier to composite. And if we have any people in our scene, it's easier to get them to walk behind an object that we composite in Premiere than it is, or in After Effects than it is in Blender, because Blender's not terribly good at that kind of stuff. It does have a compositor in it, but it's really, really difficult to use, and I haven't completely figured it out. So you might really struggle, because I know that I have struggled with it. So I decided that this is the easiest way, and this is the kind of the workflow that I remember from working kind of in the industry is trying to use kind of separate layers because it gives you a little bit more control. And yeah, this is kind of annoyingly taking a long time. I'm sure there is a way of skipping videos or pausing videos, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet. So it's nearly done, but I just wanted to show you the sort of the final result after the kind of color correction and stuff. Because you can also color correct in Blender, but it's a little bit awkward. Okay, so that should work. There we go. So that's our final thing. It's not playing perfectly real time, but you can see that it's pretty well kind of positioned on the floor, and then you can also, you can do animation and stuff on it because we know where the floor is. Once we know where the floor is, we could probably make a guesstimate on that ramp as well, and we could also build in walls if we wanted to add shadows on that. Other things to consider would be to kind of like, if you made this reflective, is to use this texture as a sort of reflection map and stuff like that. But that is a lesson for another time. Okay, and that's it. And basically that's all I want you to produce.